1,000 years ago, a warlord named Xu Wenwu discovered 10 mystical rings. They halted his aging entirely and gave him absolute power. Over the centuries, he weaponized that immortality to build a clandestine army called the Ten Rings. From the shadows, Wenwu toppled governments and ruled entire nations through his expanding network. His endless conquest continued until 1996, when his search for power led him to a hidden, mythical village called Talo. There, he met its guardian, Ying Li. The two fought, but ultimately fell in love. The villagers refused to accept Wenwu, prompting Li to leave her home. In response, Wenwu made a choice he hadn't considered in centuries. He locked the rings away, abandoned his criminal empire, and traded his violent reign to marry her and raise 2 children, Shang-Chi and Xiaoling. 1,000 years of bloodshed was suddenly replaced by domestic peace. But this newfound stability rested entirely on one fragile pillar: Ying Li's survival. When Shang-Chi was 7 years old, that pillar collapsed. The Iron Gang, an ancient rival syndicate, tracked down the family and murdered Ying Li. Consumed by grief, Wenwu immediately broke his vow. He retrieved the 10 rings, resumed his conqueror persona, and systematically eliminated the Iron Gang. The household fractured entirely. Wenwu forced Shang-Chi into a brutal, unforgiving training regimen to mold him into a weapon, while completely ignoring his daughter, Xiaoling. Left isolated, she quietly observed the men and taught herself how to fight in the shadows. By age 14, Shang-Chi was ordered to complete his first assassination, targeting the Iron Gang's leader. He succeeded, but the act broke him. Instead of returning to his father, he fled across the world to San Francisco. He adopted the name Sean, took a job as a parking lot attendant alongside his best friend Katie, and tried to bury his identity. He built a quiet, unremarkable routine in this new city. Yet ignoring a 1,000-year-old warlord doesn't make him disappear. Wenwu's legacy remained a persistent, dormant threat, waiting to pull his son back in. The quiet life in San Francisco ended when 10 Rings operatives ambushed Shang-Chi and Katie on a city bus to steal his mother's green pendant. Realizing his sister was the next target, Shang-Chi and Katie traveled to Macau. They tracked Xiaoling to a secret underground fight club she had built herself. They were too late. Wenwu and his forces stormed the club, captured all 3 of them, and brought them back to the heavily fortified 10 Rings compound. Inside the compound, Wenwu used the 2 siblings' pendants as the physical triggers to unlock a mystical topographical map of Talo. Wenwu believed he was hearing Ying Li's voice pleading for help from behind a sealed gate in Talo. Driven by this belief, he prepared his army to breach the village and open the gate he believed held her captive. A highly trained Earthni mercenary force was now being weaponized to break into a hidden, mystical dimension. When the siblings refused to help, Wenwu threw them in the dungeon. Inside that dungeon, they found an unexpected ally, an actor named Trevor Slattery, who had been imprisoned for his previous involvement with the organization. Slattery was the actor who had been recruited years earlier to play a fictionalized version of Wenwu. This deception allowed the real Wenwu to maintain his anonymity while his organization grew. Slattery had a unique companion, a faceless, winged Hundun named Morris. Relying on Morris's guidance, the group successfully navigated a shifting forest maze and crossed the dimensional barrier into Talo. There, they were greeted by Ying Li's sister, Ying Nun. She explained that their village guarded a dark gate, holding back an army of soul-eating monsters known as the Dweller in Darkness. Centuries ago, these beasts nearly wiped out Talo, until the Great Protector, a Chinese dragon, sealed them away. Ying Li wasn't calling out to her husband. The Soul Eaters were telepathically mimicking her voice, preying on Wenwu's unresolved grief to trick him into using the rings to open the dark gate. The family legacy Shang-Chi had spent years running from was driving his father straight into a cosmic trap. If Wenwu succeeded in opening the gate, it would mean a death sentence for the entire world. Wenwu's forces soon arrived to storm the village. Shang-Chi and his allies tried to warn him about the deception, but Wenwu fought past his own son, throwing Shang-Chi into the nearby lake. Approaching the mountain, Wenwu launched the rings at the dark gate. The sheer kinetic force shattered the barrier, releasing a flood of soul eaters that immediately attacked the villagers and Wenwu's own mercenaries. Deep underwater, the Great Protector awakened. The dragon healed Shang-Chi and carried him back to the surface battlefield, giving him the strength to face his father one last time. During their final clash, Shang-Chi overpowered his father but chose to spare his life. As a massive soul eater broke free and lunged at Shang-Chi, Wenwu finally realized the terrifying reality of what he had unleashed. He pushed his son out of the way, taking the fatal blow himself. In his final moments, Wenwu surrendered his 1,000-year reign. He passed the 10 physical rings directly to Shang-Chi, commanding him to protect the world. Shang-Chi and his allies killed the remaining monsters, ending the immediate threat. With the patriarch gone, the heavy shadow over the family finally lifted, leaving the siblings to define the 10 rings on their own terms. Shang-Chi and Katie returned to San Francisco, but their quiet routine was over. The sorcerer Wong intercepted them and brought them straight to Kamartaj to analyze the ancient weapons. This diagram illustrates what Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers uncovered during their inspection. The artifacts functioned as a cosmic lighthouse, emitting a powerful frequency out into space to call to an unknown origin. Back on Earth, Xiaoling made a surprising choice. Despite promising her brother she would dismantle their father's empire, she traveled to the compound and took a seat on the throne as the new leader of the 10 rings. She immediately restructured the operation. For the first time in the organization's history, women were brought into the courtyard, training and fighting directly alongside the men. The 10 rings now exist in 2 separate forms: a set of cosmic artifacts held by Shang-Chi, and a modernized private army led by Xiaoling.
And that's how the incredible story comes to an end. Every decision, every sacrifice, and every battle led to this unforgettable finale. If you enjoyed this movie recap, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more detailed movie explanations and cinematic story recaps. Also, hit the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next movie recap.